Gentlemen, if you've been using olive oil for your health, thinking you're doing everything right, I need to tell you something that could completely transform your results. You're only getting half the benefit, maybe less than half, because olive oil, as powerful as it is, works exponentially better when combined with one simple ingredient that most of you already have in your kitchen cabinet. Today, I'm going to reveal why vinegar, particularly apple cider vinegar, is the missing piece that unlocks olive oil's full potential for supporting blood flow, vascular health, and male function. This isn't just about mixing two ingredients together. This is about understanding a biochemical synergy that has been known for thousands of years, but that modern medicine has largely forgotten. What I'm about to share with you is backed by both traditional wisdom and modern science. The combination of olive oil and vinegar creates effects that neither substance can produce alone. We're talking about dramatic improvements in blood vessel flexibility, significant reductions in arterial plaque, enhanced nitric oxide production, and blood flow that can rival what you experienced decades ago. Stay with me for the next few minutes, and I'll show you exactly why this combination works so powerfully, how to prepare it for maximum benefit, what to expect as you incorporate it into your daily routine, and why senior men in particular need this approach more than any other age group. This could be the breakthrough that restores function you thought was gone forever. Before we dive into the specifics of this powerful combination, let me explain what happens to your vascular system as you age, and why senior men face particular challenges. The blood vessels in your body are not static pipes. They're living tissues that must remain flexible, responsive, and clear of obstructions to function properly. In your 20s and 30s, your blood vessels are typically supple and elastic, able to dilate quickly when increased blood flow is needed. But starting around age 40 and accelerating through your 50s, 60s, and beyond, several degenerative processes begin affecting your vascular system. The endothelial cells lining your blood vessels become less efficient at producing nitric oxide, that critical molecule that signals vessels to relax and expand. The smooth muscle in vessel walls becomes stiffer and less responsive. Calcium and cholesterol begin accumulating on vessel walls, forming plaques that narrow the internal diameter. For senior men, these changes have particularly pronounced effects on male function because the blood vessels supplying the male organ are among the smallest in your body, typically just 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter. Even minor plaque buildup or slight reductions in vessel flexibility can dramatically impair blood flow to this area. By the time most men reach their 60s and 70s, they've accumulated years or even decades of vascular damage. The good news is that this damage isn't entirely irreversible. Your body has remarkable capacity for repair and regeneration when given the right support. This is where the olive oil and vinegar combination becomes absolutely crucial. Let me start by explaining what makes olive oil so valuable for vascular health, because understanding this foundation helps you appreciate why adding vinegar creates such powerful synergy. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most thoroughly researched foods for cardiovascular and vascular health. The Mediterranean diet, which features olive oil as a primary fat source, has been associated with significantly lower rates of heart disease and better overall vascular function well into old age. The key compound in olive oil is oleic acid, a monounsaturated fatty acid that comprises about 70 to 80% of olive oil's fat content. Oleic acid has been shown to support healthy cholesterol ratios, reduce inflammation in blood vessels, and improve the flexibility of arterial walls. Extra virgin olive oil also contains powerful polyphenols, including oleocanthal, oleuropein, and hydroxytyrosol. These compounds have anti-inflammatory effects that rival some pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory drugs. Since inflammation is central to the development of atherosclerosis and endothelial dysfunction, these anti-inflammatory properties are crucial for maintaining healthy blood flow. Olive oil polyphenols also protect LDL cholesterol from oxidation. Oxidized LDL is particularly damaging to blood vessels and is a primary contributor to plaque formation. By preventing this oxidation, olive oil helps stop atherosclerosis at an early stage. Research has shown that regular consumption of extra virgin olive oil improves endothelial function, meaning the cells lining your blood vessels work better at producing nitric oxide and responding to signals for vasodilation. This translates directly to improved blood flow throughout your body. But here's what most people don't realize. Olive oil's beneficial compounds are fat-soluble, which means they're absorbed and utilized differently than water-soluble nutrients. And the absorption and effectiveness of these compounds can be dramatically enhanced by combining olive oil with specific acidic substances. This is where vinegar enters the picture. Now let me explain what vinegar, particularly apple cider vinegar, brings to this powerful combination. Apple cider vinegar is produced through the fermentation of apple juice. First, the sugars in the juice are converted to alcohol by yeast. Then bacteria convert the alcohol to acetic acid, the primary active compound in vinegar. But apple cider vinegar contains much more than just acetic acid. It also contains various organic acids, polyphenols from the apples, and if it's unfiltered, beneficial bacteria and enzymes. Acetic acid has been extensively studied for its effects on blood sugar metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Even small amounts of vinegar consumed with meals can significantly reduce the blood sugar spike that would otherwise occur. This is crucial for vascular health because elevated blood sugar damages blood vessels through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins and make them dysfunctional. For senior men who are at higher risk for insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, this blood sugar regulating effect is particularly valuable. By keeping blood sugar more stable, vinegar protects blood vessels from one of the primary sources of age-related damage. But vinegar's benefits extend far beyond blood sugar. Acetic acid has been shown to support healthy blood pressure through multiple mechanisms. It affects the renin-angiotensin system, which regulates blood pressure. It also appears to enhance the production and activity of nitric oxide, that master regulator of blood vessel dilation. The organic acids in apple cider vinegar also have mild chelating properties, meaning they can bind to certain minerals and metals. This may help with the gradual removal of calcified deposits from arterial walls, though this effect requires consistent long-term use. Vinegar has also been shown to support healthy lipid profiles, helping to maintain favorable ratios of different cholesterol types. Combined with olive oil's similar effects, you get a powerful 1-2 punch for addressing the lipid disorders that contribute to vascular disease. Here's where the synergy becomes truly remarkable. When you combine olive oil and vinegar, something happens that makes both substances more effective than they would be individually. The acetic acid in vinegar enhances the absorption of the fat-soluble polyphenols in olive oil. These beneficial compounds are absorbed more efficiently when consumed in an acidic environment. Your stomach produces acid for this reason, but the additional acid from vinegar further enhances this process. The polyphenols in olive oil and the polyphenols in apple cider vinegar work together to provide more comprehensive antioxidant protection than either provides alone. They target different types of free radicals and protect different aspects of cellular function, creating a broader shield against oxidative damage. The anti-inflammatory effects of both substances appear to be synergistic rather than simply additive. When consumed together, they produce greater reductions in inflammatory markers than would be expected from consuming equivalent amounts separately. Both olive oil and vinegar support healthy endothelial function, but through somewhat different mechanisms. Olive oil provides the building blocks and protection for endothelial cells, while vinegar enhances their activity and responsiveness. Together, they create optimal conditions for nitric oxide production and blood vessel health. The blood sugar regulating effects of vinegar complement the insulin sensitizing effects of olive oil's polyphenols. For senior men dealing with metabolic changes, this combination helps maintain the healthy glucose metabolism that's essential for protecting blood vessels. Let me teach you the optimal way to prepare and consume this powerful combination. The traditional preparation is simple and has been used in Mediterranean cultures for thousands of years. It's the basis of virtually every vinaigrette dressing, but when prepared with specific ratios and consumed in specific ways, it becomes a targeted intervention for vascular health. Start with high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Quality matters enormously here. Look for oil that's cold-pressed, stored in dark glass bottles, and preferably from a single origin. The harvest date should be recent, ideally within the past year. Fresh olive oil contains significantly higher levels of beneficial polyphenols than old oil. For vinegar, use raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar that contains the mother, that cloudy substance you see settled at the bottom. This indicates the vinegar hasn't been overly processed and retains beneficial enzymes and bacteria. The basic ratio is 3 parts olive oil to 1 part vinegar. For a daily therapeutic dose, this typically means 3 tablespoons of olive oil mixed with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Place the vinegar in a small bowl or cup first. Add a small pinch of sea salt and whisk it briefly. The salt helps the vinegar and oil combine more thoroughly. Then, slowly drizzle in the olive oil while whisking continuously. This creates an emulsion where the oil and vinegar temporarily combine rather than separating into distinct layers. You can enhance this basic preparation with additional ingredients that complement and amplify its effects. A small amount of raw honey adds sweetness to balance the acidity while contributing its own vascular benefits. A 1/4 teaspoon of Dijon mustard not only helps create a more stable emulsion, but adds compounds from mustard seeds that support circulation. Fresh or dried herbs can be added for both flavor and additional health benefits. Oregano contains compounds that support vascular health. Basil provides antioxidants that complement those in olive oil and vinegar. Garlic, either fresh or powdered, adds powerful cardiovascular protective compounds. The timing and method of consumption significantly impact the benefits you receive from this combination. For blood sugar regulation and metabolic benefits, consuming the olive oil and vinegar mixture shortly before or with your largest meal of the day provides optimal effects. The vinegar slows gastric emptying and carbohydrate absorption, while the olive oil provides satiety and supports healthy insulin response. Many senior men find that consuming this preparation first thing in the morning on an empty stomach produces the most noticeable effects on overall energy and vascular function. On an empty stomach, the beneficial compounds are absorbed quickly and efficiently. Some practitioners recommend taking a tablespoon of the mixture mid-morning and another mid-afternoon, spread throughout the day to maintain consistent blood levels of the beneficial compounds. You can consume the mixture directly, though many people find the taste quite strong taken this way. Mixing it with a small amount of water or herbal tea makes it more palatable. Some men prefer to use it as a salad dressing, which is both effective and enjoyable. For men specifically focused on improving blood flow for male function, consuming the mixture 45 to 90 minutes before periods when optimal circulation is desired can provide acute benefits. However, the most significant improvements come from consistent daily use over weeks and months rather than acute dosing. Let me explain what happens in your body over time as you consistently consume this olive oil and vinegar combination. In the first few weeks, you may notice improvements in digestion and energy levels. The vinegar supports healthy stomach acid production and digestive enzyme activity. The olive oil provides steady energy and helps you feel satisfied after meals. Many men notice that their blood sugar feels more stable. The afternoon energy crashes that plague many seniors become less pronounced. This reflects the blood sugar regulating effects of the combination and the improved insulin sensitivity that develops with consistent use. Within 1 to 2 months, more substantial vascular changes begin occurring. Blood pressure often shows favorable shifts. The flexibility of arterial walls improves, which can be measured through various clinical tests, but is often noticed subjectively as a general sense of better circulation. The anti-inflammatory effects accumulate over time. Chronic inflammation markers in the blood decrease. This reduced inflammation allows endothelial cells to function more optimally and supports the healing of existing vascular damage. At the 3 to 6 month mark, men often report significant improvements in male function and blood flow. The quality of responses improves, reliability increases, and the tissue feels healthier and more vital. These changes reflect genuine improvements in vascular health rather than temporary stimulation. For men with existing vascular disease or significant plaque buildup, even longer timelines may be needed to see maximal benefits. The process of gradually reducing arterial plaque and reversing years of damage takes time. But with patience and consistency, meaningful improvements are possible even for men in their 70s and 80s. Let me address some specific considerations for senior men using this approach. Many seniors are taking multiple medications, and it's important to be aware of potential interactions. Vinegar can affect blood sugar levels, so men taking diabetes medications need to monitor their blood sugar carefully and may need medication adjustments. The blood pressure effects mean that men on blood pressure medications should work with their healthcare providers to monitor their pressure and adjust medications as needed. Both olive oil and vinegar have mild blood thinning effects. Men taking anticoagulant or antiplatelet medications should discuss this combination with their healthcare providers, though the effects are generally modest at the doses recommended. Some seniors have reduced stomach acid production, which can impair digestion. Interestingly, the vinegar in this combination can actually help compensate for low stomach acid, improving overall nutrient absorption and digestion. Dental health is a consideration with regular vinegar consumption. The acidity can potentially affect tooth enamel over time. Rinsing your mouth with water after consuming the mixture helps protect your teeth. Some men prefer to drink it through a straw to minimize contact with teeth. Starting with smaller amounts and gradually increasing allows your body to adapt, particularly if you're not accustomed to consuming vinegar. Begin with 1 teaspoon of vinegar with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, then gradually work up to the full therapeutic dose. Let me share some additional ways to incorporate this combination into your daily routine beyond the basic preparation. You can prepare a larger batch of the olive oil and vinegar mixture and store it in a glass jar in a cool, dark place. Shake it well before each use, as the oil and vinegar will separate when sitting. Having it prepared in advance makes it easier to maintain consistent daily use. Using this combination as a marinade for proteins like fish, chicken, or lean meats serves a dual purpose. The acidic vinegar helps tenderize the protein while you're getting your therapeutic dose of the mixture. The polyphenols in olive oil are also heat-stable enough to survive moderate cooking temperatures. Adding this mixture to steamed or roasted vegetables not only makes them more flavorful, but ensures you're getting your daily dose in an enjoyable way. Vegetables themselves support vascular health, so you're creating a synergistic meal. Some men add the mixture to homemade vegetable or bone broths, creating a nutrient-dense liquid that supports vascular and overall health. The warm liquid can be particularly comforting and soothing. You can create variations by using different types of vinegar. While apple cider vinegar is most commonly recommended, red wine vinegar and balsamic vinegar also provide polyphenols and organic acids. Experimenting with different varieties keeps the practice interesting. What realistic results should you expect from consistent use of this olive oil and vinegar combination? Most men notice subtle improvements within 2 to 3 weeks. These early changes might include better energy levels, improved digestion, and a general sense of better circulation. Blood sugar stability often improves noticeably in this time frame. At the 1 to 2 month mark, blood pressure often shows favorable changes. Men who monitor their blood pressure at home frequently notice that their readings have improved. This reflects the cumulative anti-inflammatory and vasodilatory effects of the combination. Improvements in male function typically become apparent between 2 and 4 months of consistent daily use. The timeline depends on the extent of existing vascular damage and individual response. The changes you experience reflect genuine healing and restoration of vascular function. For men with significant existing cardiovascular disease or extensive plaque buildup, longer timelines are needed. 6 months to a year of consistent use may be required to see maximal benefits. But even in these cases, meaningful improvements are possible with patience and persistence. The beauty of this approach is that you're addressing the root causes of vascular dysfunction rather than just managing symptoms. The improvements you achieve are sustainable because they're based on actual healing and regeneration of vascular tissues. I want to emphasize that this olive oil and vinegar combination should be viewed as part of a comprehensive approach to vascular health rather than a standalone intervention. It's remarkably powerful, but it works best in the context of overall health-conscious choices. That said, for many senior men, this simple daily practice of consuming olive oil and vinegar becomes the cornerstone intervention that allows everything else to work more effectively. It creates a foundation of healthy vascular function upon which other beneficial practices build. The accessibility of this approach makes it practical for virtually any senior man. Olive oil and vinegar are inexpensive, available everywhere, require no special equipment to prepare, and have an excellent safety profile. There are no complicated protocols, no exotic ingredients, just a simple daily practice based on traditional wisdom and validated by modern science. Gentlemen, the combination of extra virgin olive oil and apple cider vinegar represents one of the most effective natural interventions available for supporting vascular health and blood flow in senior men. It works through multiple complementary mechanisms to address the accumulated damage that occurs over decades of living. This isn't about quick fixes or temporary solutions. This is about supporting your body's innate capacity for healing and regeneration. With consistency and patience, meaningful improvements are possible regardless of your current age or condition. I'm Dr. Sophia Carter. Thank you for your time today, and here's to your lasting health and vitality.